Hello guys, welcome to my presentation. My name is Serhiy, I'm a game designer in Ubisoft, and today I'll speak about gameplay sound subtitles in video games. Let's go through the plan quickly to understand what we'll speak today about. First part will be about the short introduction, about who we are and what we are doing. Then we'll speak about accessibility research we did, then about designing how we design sound subtitles for our video game Immortals Fenyx Rising. The fourth part will be about the community feedback we received, and the fifth part, honestly the most important one, the importance of sound subtitles in games. This is basically the main reason why I'm doing this presentation. Okay, let's go. Introduction. We are Ubisoft Ukraine, located in Ukraine, and previously we worked on Assassin's Creed brand, and then we switched to Immortals Fenyx Rising, the new IP from the Ubisoft, and we were working with the PC platform, 3C, UX, render features, and accessibility. This is a lovely picture of me and my colleague. From the accessibility point of view, we did menu narration, color blind modes, control customizations, multiple input methods, HUD customization, tutorials menu support, after movement, something else which I probably forgot to mention here, and sound subtitles, basically the feature I'm speaking today about. So accessibility features research. How did this idea appear with the sound subtitles? When we was researching what can we do for Immortals Fenyx Rising from the accessibility point of view to increase accessibility, I mentioned this Mark Brown's video essay about accessibility for deaf or hard of hearing gamers, and where he mentioned on like 2 or 3 games which have this sounds captions feature. And as you can see on the screenshot, the first game is Minecraft, the second one is Half-Life 2. Both of them are pretty old for today, and I was surprised why such an important feature was not that popular, and why no one is creating that. So that's basically where we started to. And then we also mentioned that our colleagues from Far Cry New Dawn already implemented sound subtitles in a beautiful and lovely way. And that was kind of our goal, what we want to reach as well. How did we design it for our game? Once again, I'll repeat, we worked on Immortals Fenyx Rising, and the first main question was, do we want to support gameplay-related sounds only, or should we think about ambient sounds as well? By ambient, I mean like wind, fallen leaves, the birds singing, the river floating, and so on. And we stopped with gameplay, because let's start with gameplay. This is the most important one from the gameplay point of view, and that was our goal. The main idea was to show subtitles for events which were provided by the player, because most of the all of the events around based on player sections only, and this solution has 2 advantages. First one was to avoiding spamming with tons of information, and the second was to like providing super clear feedback for players, because this is literally showing the event after what you did, like based on your actions. On the GIF, you can see how actually it's working already in the game. So we're shooting the fire component, a fire subtitle appears, then magic field appears. This example is pretty obvious one, because 2 events are in front of the player, but imagine something the same happens on the left, right, or back on you, and you cannot hear it and you cannot see it. In such case, it's way more useful. Yeah, we decided to keep only 2 sound subtitles at the same time, not to overwhelm, and with 50 meters radius, because no sense to have more. Subtitles should appear for 3 seconds, which is enough to reach and receive this information and understand it, and to show the direction with 360 arrow. What events do we want to support? Again, we were testing a lot and running through the different components to see what can happen on player's back, what sounds are pretty important, and what some players with hard of hearing, for example, can miss, but the information should be understood by them. That's why we decided to keep it on fire, airstream in our game, platform moving components, activators, range switchers, mortal fields, gates when they opened and when they're closed, when the objects were spawned, and the levers with the timers. So not the regular ones, but when the time passed and something changed, you have this lever of subtitle. Two more we added to DLC 1, teleporting portals and magnets. And yeah, this is basically how it looks like in the game again. So lever turned off, but you can see it because it happened on your back, but you see the subtitle and you can understand clearly what happened, even if you did not hear this event. Community feedback, it was pretty good. As you can see on the text from Can I Play That, they mentioned, and another amazingly well done helpful feature are the puzzle captions. This is how we call them. Many of the puzzles have off-screen sound components and let players know something has happened. Regarding the score, we have 9.9 out of 10. In addition to everything else what other developers from different departments did in a brilliant way, I think this feature worked as well brilliantly too. The only thing as was mentioned here is that we did not have a background for this text. For regular subtitles we had a background, but for closed captions, for the sound subtitles, we did not. Maybe there is the reason why we lost this 0-1. This is a good one. We'll keep it in mind for future games. And speak not only about our game, but other Ubisoft titles. If we speak about Watch Dogs Legion or Assassin's Creed Valhalla, the same feature were implemented by our colleagues, and both of them were warmly welcomed by the community. A lot of people mentioned that these are very useful and lovely to see features in the games, as we can see Game Accessibility Nexus. Why I mentioned other Ubisoft titles, because here in Ubisoft we are trying to keep this feature in literally as to produce this feature for every other game. As you can see from the Far Cry 6, it was implemented, the newest one, Assassin's Creed Valhalla again, and Watch Dogs Legion. And the interesting point regarding the Watch Dogs Legion is that they're implemented not just gameplay-oriented sound subtitles, but narrative sound subtitles as well. As on the last screenshot we can see this birds singing feature, and it does not have any directional point, and I think it makes a lot of sense because this is like the narration sound and it appeared around you. No, there is no sense to show where exactly the birds were singing, but the fact that they are singing is enough to show it, and I think this realization is a really good one. So they handled narrative sounds as well. And the fifth block, actually the reason why I'm doing this presentation, importance of sound subtitles in games. Honestly, I just want to draw everyone's attention to this accessibility feature, especially developers, because in different video games we can observe today a lot of different accessibility features like customizations, colorblind, and all that stuff, but it's still very rare to observe sound subtitles. But I believe they must be like the must-have feature. And if we'll compare video games to movies, while you're watching the movie, you see the entire picture as film director, cameraman wanted you to see it. There is nothing you can miss. In video games, you interact with the game in a super different way. You actually playing it, and during the actual gameplay, you can turn the camera 360. You can miss a lot of important information which should be reached by you, and that's why it's very important to have these sound subtitles, so players who are deaf or hard of hearing will not miss any important information. Just imagine you're watching, regarding the movies, the subtitles itself, it's super default one, but in video games the only subtitles is not enough. Again, I do believe that sound subtitles for gameplay events is very important to have. Imagine you're watching the movie and you have like the subtitles for them, but suddenly in one of the dialogue the subtitles disappear for some reason. And this is actually what I believe happens in video games when we do not subtitle the important sound with the subtitles. You just literally losing some context, which is very important. As for the movie, you're missing some context in the plot and the dialogue. In video game, during the actual gameplay, you're missing some context from the gameplay point of view and gameplay perspective. It is the same one, but in different perspective, and it is very important to have. That's basically it. Thanks for your time. I hope that more and more developers will do this feature, will realize these gameplay sound features in their games. I'm not saying that we're doing it in the best way. That was not the point. My point was just to draw attention to this one, because I would love to see this feature in more and more games, but not like in few of them. That's basically it. Thanks again. In case you have any questions, feel free to reach me via the email, which you can see down below. And have a good one. Cheers.